stick just changed around here, buddy. You're looking at it.
You are now listening to the Outsiders Podcast, the most exciting and hard-hitting show on the net. And now, bringing it hard as always on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL, here are your hosts, Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger.
All of a sudden, I'm feeling just a little nostalgic. The Home Alone theme is just, I mean, it's iconic, and all Kevin wanted for Christmas was his family to return home. All we want for Christmas is a new regime.
And a quarterback. Gotta have that franchise quarterback.
Gotta
That's
have
what
that.
I want under the tree.
Under the tree, wrapped, like Cousin Eddie wrapping Mr. Shirley in Christmas Vacation. I want a quarterback, Geno Smith, Matt Barkley, Aaron Murray, somebody wrapped under my Christmas tree with a bow around their little neck.
Kirk Cousins, that'll do me fine.
Oh, yeah. Kirk Cousins and drafting a quarterback certainly would have to be the case. But welcome to the Outsiders Podcast, our Christmas edition. Also our preview of the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Indianapolis Colts.
We got Jeff Herrod coming on, former Colts linebacker.
Hey, Jeff Herrod knows a little something about winning in Arrowhead. He was, of course, a linebacker on that team in '95 that came in here and won in the playoffs. Something that a lot of people may not realize, Noah, is that the Kansas City Chiefs have only 2 wins over the Indianapolis Colts since 1984. One of those came last season, which it was Dwayne Bowe making the circus catch, and the other was a Halloween game at home against Peyton Manning, surprisingly. But
Jeff Herrod played with Peyton Manning, Marshall Faulk, Jim Harbaugh, now coach. He was quarterback for the Colts back then. So
I'm sure he'll have an interesting take on this year's Colts team as well, as they've gone through a transition. They had the 1 year with no first-round quarterback. They were horrible. They got a first-round quarterback again, and they're great again. So.
Yep, they got the 2 best quarterbacks probably the past 20 years.
They're going to be a playoff team. They beat the Chiefs on Sunday, and they will clinch the playoff spot. Chiefs, amidst turmoil and rumors and all sorts of stuff, that Scott Pioli and Romeo Crennel may in fact have already been told that they are not returning next year, which I can substantiate that because I have informed both of them that they're not coming back. They may not have heard me.
Yeah, I told them week 3 that they weren't coming back.
Yeah. So yes, they have been told, maybe by Clark Hunt this time, hopefully. So we'll see how that plays out. But I don't see any way the Chiefs really even compete in this game. I think the Colts, they've been really good at beating up on the bad teams they've played this year. Maybe not ready to take the step and be a championship caliber team yet, but they're going to beat the Chiefs.
They're definitely going to beat the Chiefs. Reggie Wayne is going back to his mid-20s. He's playing outstanding. Like 300-yard games, 200-yard games. He is just killing it.
Yeah, and the Chiefs coming off just an abysmal performance at Oakland, and now we've got these rumors circulating. I mean, for the last several weeks, maybe even since the beginning of the season, to me, Romeo Crennel's had the body language of a coach that is just not caring, standing there, knows he's out, going to get a buyout. He's 65 years old. Like, he just doesn't care. It's done.
I just think he's clueless. He just doesn't know what he's doing. He's standing on the sidelines like, man, I'm just way over my head here. I don't know what's going on.
Well, that appears to be the case for many in the Chiefs front office. And I'll tell you what, if I'm a janitor, if I'm a parking attendant, I'm nervous as well because I think Clark's going to blow this whole thing up.
Exactly. So do they buy Christmas presents or don't they?
I would hold off on that. Maybe till next year on that because
we're going to see if we're going to celebrate Christmas, kids. We're going to have to wait till late January to see if we keep our jobs or not. So
and I think that as soon as the final bell tolls on this season, which will be next Sunday against the Denver Broncos, the snowball is going to start. The avalanche will begin, and these guys are going to be dropping.
Pink slips will be a given.
Merry Christmas! Jelly of the Month Club memberships and pink slips are being passed around Arrowhead, and I can't wait. I mean, the only thing that possibly excites me is going forward is the idea of new owners, as a new front office, a new general manager, a new coach, a new staff, and a new quarterback, and that's what it's going to have to be.
A new scouting department. It's going to be interesting to see what we do in that area and go through all the GM searches and coach searches, which they have to do the Rooney Rule, I believe it is, bringing in an African American to interview for the job. So that'll be
or maybe they don't,
candidates.
Considering they just hired Romeo Crennel last year without interviewing seemingly anybody else. Maybe they just skip that.
No.
Romeo Crennel was just hired. Like, nope, we're good. Got a friend in here. He's hired.
Well, you can do that with an African-American, but you can't do that with, say, a Bill Parcells or John Gruden or whatever. You have to interview an African-American candidate first.
Oh, I mean, knowing the actual rules, obviously, yes. You have to interview an African-American candidate for each open head coaching position. That's obviously the Chiefs will follow protocol as they've done. I'm just making a joke there. No, it's around the holidays. We're having fun here. We got a 2-12 team sitting here. I'm just trying to have a little fun.
That's why I'm not having fun. I don't get your joke things.
I'm
miserable.
I'm not at Arrowhead tailgating and saying that I'm having the greatest time of my life. I'm not saying I give up on football or football's dead to me. I'm still here. I'll be here 20 years from now for 0-16, my man.
And 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, everyone was coming out saying, "Oh, Pioli signed his extension. It's over."
Oh, I wonder. I don't think that's the case. Somehow, something's telling me that might have been wrong. I don't know what.
Yep, we've had some other podcasters with their sources saying that people have signed and Pioli signed his extension, 2-year extension, but
that sounds like
that's not true.
That just sounds like people that maybe don't know a lot about football and that football just might be dead to them. I don't know. That's just a hunch.
And maybe just trying to get views, just throwing something out there.
Who would do that? No, we would never. We would never. And by the way, we're bringing Jeff Herrod on in just a few minutes, talking Chiefs and Colts, previewing the game. Jeff Herrod, former linebacker, he's coming right on, so you don't want to miss that.
Definitely not.
And we are continuing to break down Kansas City Chiefs versus the Indianapolis Colts, and who better to do that with than former Indianapolis Colt himself, Jeff Herrod. Jeff, welcome to the show. We really appreciate you being on today, and how's it going with you, my man?
Oh, wonderful. Glad you guys invited me. It was always good to talk good football.
Yes, and good football indeed right now for the Indianapolis Colts. Before we get into this weekend's game here at Arrowhead Stadium, let's talk a little bit about an instance from your career. You have been to Arrowhead a time or two in the past. I wanted to ask you about the '95 playoff game. You guys came in and upset a very good Chiefs team, and just go into that and what that felt like. And coming in, the Chiefs missed 3 field goals that could have won the game. But what was that like for you guys?
Well, I tell you what, it was great. You know, we was going into that game, we were the first indoor team to play an outdoor team in those conditions in the history of the NFL, and we were pretty much the underdog. Kansas City had the best running attack, which included Marcus Allen at the time, that had the biggest offensive line in the league, and going into Kansas City in such hostile environments, our best defense tackle, Sonny Siragusa, he didn't play due to having the flu, and he was replaced by Hall of Famer Richard Dent, which I didn't think that he was up for the task. But just going out there in those conditions, just he coming out victorious, it was like one of the best moments in my career. Like I said, nobody expected us to come out with the victory, and from the standpoint we had, no name defense, probably the smallest defense in the league at the time, and it was just a hard fought game. I'll never forget the conditions of the field. It's icy field. I think the wind chill was like 10 below, but it was fun. It was a great time, and it was always, I think, I've been to Kansas City twice in my career, and that was by far the best.
Well, in talking about that game, of course, Marshall Faulk, a teammate of yours who was also inactive for that game. But let's also talk about Jim Harbaugh, a guy who was known as the comeback kid, played quarterback for you, now a successful head coach in San Francisco. I mean, did you see things out of him as a teammate that you could attribute that he would probably wind up someday being a good coach?
Oh, yes. Jim had a rough start in Chicago. And, coming with the Colts, he had his chance to step in and make a difference, and he did that. And I didn't realize, over the years, his dad was a head coach at Western Kentucky, and he and his brother, they during the off seasons, on the gyms off season, whatever, he would go and assist and help his dad. And I think over the years, he just got that experience and, followed his dad's footstep. But when I, found out that he was out at Stanford, I think he started out at San Diego State, if I'm not mistaken. But all the success he had at Stanford, it really took me for a surprise. But I knew that he was going to pursue that career. And like I said, knowing that he was following his dad's footsteps. But I'm real proud of Jim. He was tough on the field. By coach, and that, I think that contributes to his success.
Getting back to Marshall Faulk, what did you see from him when he played with you with the Indianapolis Colts before he moved on to the Rams that you thought could make him a Hall of Fame running back?
Well, Marshall Faulk coming into, Coach Jeff and him in 1994, and he, when I first met Marshall, his physical appearance is very deceiving. He has a smaller upper body. He's not the bruiser type, running back. Lower body. He's, not the muscular type, so to speak. But the guy had unbelievable quickness, speed, and he actually made me a better coverage linebacker. As far as practice, going up against him, and through those years, my last year was in '98. That was Marshall's last year. It was rough. It was Peyton Manning's rookie year, so it was a bad situation, and I hated to see the situation unfold the way it did. But I know going with him going to the Rams, I knew that he was going to do great things because I knew the talent. And he was by far one of the quickest running backs I ever faced. And like I said, it was day in and day out. Being in coverage with him, coming out of the backfield in practice. But I wasn't surprised. I'm totally happy for Marshall and have the utmost respect for him.
You played your last year with Peyton Manning, and that was a rough rookie year for him, but what did you think of him his rookie year, and your thoughts on him still going now today after all the neck surgeries?
Well, let me correct you. Peyton Manning played with me.
That's right.
Back in 1988, I was out with my best friend now, Eric Dickerson, and someone asked, "Hey, Eric Dickerson, you play with Jeff Herrod?" Eric Dickerson corrected him, so Jeff Herrod played with me.
I like that.
He's the guy, so I took that from him. So a lot of people like, "Hey, you play with Peyton Manning?" So I have to correct them. But Peyton, I knew that, Ben, I went to Ole Miss, and I knew Archie. He's Ole Miss guy as well as Eli. And, but I knew the type of, player Archie was, and the person was, not so great of a NFL career, but the way he brought Peyton and Eli along, I remember them, there at Ole Miss when I was there. But, with him coming to the Colts, it was weird. I was in the training room when he first arrived, and he came up and shook my hand, Jeff Herrod. I'm like, how do you know me? Because everybody knows Jeff Herrod. So, but from that standpoint, just watching him develop throughout the season, I think it was the negative about his season was turnovers. I think the same thing that Andrew Luck experienced today. But he was a student of the game. He's a guy who was first practice and last of the league. He always studied, and he was a rookie, but he really wasn't. He somewhat in comparison with Andrew Luck, what he's doing today. But Peyton is a great player, great leader, and I knew all the things and all the success that he had, from that rookie year of learning that he was going to be the player he is today.
Getting back to more important things, your career, you had 14.5 sacks, 5 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns. Do you remember those touchdown plays and what you saw in those specific plays?
Yeah, my first touchdown is, I can't remember which year. I think it was in 1992, playing against the Cleveland Browns, and it was minutes left in the game, and I was on they had the ball on their own 3-yard line, and I blitzed, and I had Bernie Kosar in my test. I think it was Bernie Kosar, and I had him for a sack. He slipped out of my hands, and my teammates Dwayne Pickett knocked the ball loose, so I ended up falling on the ball in the end zone. That was my first interception, so it wasn't nothing still spectacular. But my second touchdown came in 1996 against the Ravens, which was great because it was a national Sunday night game, and I dropped back to zone, and just already I take them off and took it 68 yards for a touchdown, and so I had to show the world that I still had running back skills from high school.
cannot beat those moments. Jeff, as we fast forward, of course, now to this year's Colts team, I mean, the team went into a transition mode a year ago. Of course, Peyton Manning was let go for the prospect of drafting an Andrew Luck. Immediately, he has made this Colts team better. I mean, talk about the 2012 Colts and just what a difference Andrew Luck has made, and just how good this team's playing right now.
Well, he made a huge difference, and to on Peyton's behalf, I hated to see, that relationship end. I knew, like I said, the person that Peyton Manning, the toughness within him, and, for, that situation to happen, and, am I surprised that he's doing what he's doing in Denver? No, I know Peyton, but Andrew Luck, he's a great talent, and actually he kind of reminded me of Peyton Manning, and kind of, Jim Harbaugh, his scrambling ability, whatnot, but it was tough this year with Chuck Pagano with his situation, but I think the team just, rallied behind that situation, and, with that said, with a rookie quarterback, Luck stepping up and making the plays, and the mistakes that he make on the field, you can see him when he goes off the sideline, he's just totally upset and just eager to get back on the field and make things happen, but, I mean, to have five or six comebacks this year, fourth quarter comebacks this year, to be victorious, to beat, the Packers, and how that game unfolded, just says a lot about him, his character. He's comes from just like Peyton comes from a great family, so, but he's a great addition to the Colts organization, and, so surprised and happy the fact that they're in position that they're in today.
Can you talk about the Colts' transition from the 4-3 to the 3-4, and specifically Dwight Freeney, who's played his whole year at defensive end, now having to stand up and play linebacker, your old position?
Yeah, that's kind of tough. I knew it was going to be tough for him, for real. I thought that Morocco Mathis, he will adjust more. I think he's more athletic and not as, bigger than Dwight. But, Dwight is, we all know his career is coming to an end. He's not the Dwight of, 5-6 years ago, and to make that transition in this time of his career, I knew it was going to be difficult, but they just have to, replace those, being in with, true stand-up outside linebackers who can, play the in position and stand up and drop in coverage. So, but I think overall with the fight and the heart and, defensively overall that they made the plays when need be, and but it's overall just going into a different system, which I'm part of through my career, is tough.
Of course, we got the Indianapolis Colts coming into Arrowhead Stadium this Sunday at noon. Of course, this probably isn't going to be the Arrowhead atmosphere maybe that you experienced in your career. This has been a disaster of a season, to put it lightly, for the Kansas City Chiefs. And here the Indianapolis Colts can clinch a playoff spot with a win here. How hard is it for a team like the Colts that are young to try to stay focused and win a game like this when they know a playoff spot's on the line, even against a really poor team like Kansas City?
Well, you can't say Kansas City's poor team. They beat Carolina, which Carolina has, been making positive strides over the last 3-4 weeks, and it's been a tough season overall for the Chiefs. I mean, there's a lot of bright spots, with Jamal Charles and his success, success with the run game, the injuries to Bull, and the quarterback position is not solid, so it's been rough, and then with the off-field situation that happened. So, going into this game for the Colts to be focused, I think they're going to be focused. I think, news came out today that Chuck Pagano, he's been cleared to come back and coach, I think, going into next week. But I think the focus is there. They've come this far. I think it's not going to be, a letdown on Sunday. But then again, too, I love good football, and the way the ball's been turning this year, you never know who's going to win. So it's not going to be a cakewalk for the Colts.
Well, how do you see this game playing out? And let's get your prediction for Sunday.
Well, yeah, I can say a close first half, but I think overall, I think the Colts, Brady Quinn with his rib injury, because if I was still playing, I would attack the ribs.
Sure.
But I didn't say that. But I think overall they play a mistake-free game. I mean, I think they'll, have an easy victory. It's hard for this time of year for Kansas City, their players. And I remember, back in 1991 when we was 1-14 going into our last game, and 1-13 going into our last couple of games. Man, that mindset is hard, especially when you're playing in cold conditions. So it's going to be tough for Kansas City, the players individually, to come out and just get up for this game, knowing that there's no playoffs and all the things that has happened. And like I said, that cold weather does play a critical part.
You mentioned how you went 1-13 in 1991, or were 1-13. Did you notice anyone quitting? Any of the players just quitting and saying this season's over with? I'll just take it easy out here, get my paycheck, and wait till next year.
I would lie to say I didn't really see that. It's just human for anyone to be in a situation like that because, believe it or not, when you're losing, everybody you get injured. Notice the teams that, it's not so much now, but back then it seems like when you lose, you get hurt. You have more injuries on the team. But there were players, I can, during that time, I can see that in the fourth quarter, guys sit down being offense, defense, when the offense is on the field, you have defensive players that are looking up at the scoreboard, at the clock, tick tock, and vice versa. It's normal. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I didn't quit. And believe it or not, we was 1-15 we was 1-15 that year, and that's the year that I got team MVP. So I always, share that with people, let them know that was the best season of my career, from the standpoint I got team MVP, 1-15. That speaks for itself. I didn't quit.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting going forward. And I think it speaks to that, the fact that you didn't quit, wound up, a couple years later having a great season, going to the AFC Championship game and a Hail Mary away from a Super Bowl. So I think you can probably attest to the fact that not quitting can definitely pay off down the road. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I can agree with that, and I think all New York Giants fans can agree with that because they experience this every year.
Exactly.
They do it year in and year out, so it's always good to, even Kansas City, in the position that they're in, you always want to finish on a positive note, and you always want to, first of all, individually, you want to let the organization and the coaches know that, your heart is still with the team, that the type of player that you are, out still trying to lead a positive image or feeling in the coaches and the organizations from their viewpoint. And but like I said, overall, it's tough, but it's up to the individual.
So what are you up to nowadays, Jeff?
Repairing my body. I moved down to Tampa, Florida, a little over 2.5 years ago from Indy. I had my hip replaced about 3 years ago, and that titanium in that hip and that weather and all the injuries that I have and arthritic parts, body parts didn't do well with the weather, so I had to migrate south with the birds. So I've been down here just, they just had shoulder surgery this year. I had hand surgery about a month ago, and I got a elbow surgery scheduled. I had it scheduled for this month, but I rescheduled. But I have about 5 or 6 more surgeries that's in place. I think that'll put me right at about 20 surgeries if I, follow through with it all. And that's the main thing I'm doing, just trying to get healthy, trying to feel better every day. And it's been rough for me. I mean, I played in the era where, the helmets was 20 pounds. We played on carpet and asphalt, and there was no safety implemented.
Yeah. Hey, that's going to take its toll, and I'll tell you, that's why it's easy for guys like us sitting in our heated studio being able to analyze the game, but that's why we can't play the game, because guys like you go out there and do it and put your bodies on the line. So we appreciate that, and I'll tell you what, Jeff, it's been great catching up with you, and I'll tell you what, let's catch up right around the time the playoffs start. We'll do a little preview. Whoever the Colts go play, we'll have you back on if you don't mind, my man. We've really enjoyed it.
Okay, I appreciate the fact that you're putting my Colts in the playoffs.
Hey, they're coming in and playing. We've covered the Kansas City Chiefs. We see them play every week. Your Colts are going to the playoffs. Don't worry about. You don't have to worry about that.
well, Kansas City. If Kansas, the good thing about it, Kansas City, they come up on a winning end. Still got Pittsburgh and the Bengals. If Pittsburgh lose, we're automatically in. And I think that Houston, that last game in Indy, I think they would sit their players. I think they'll be in the position to do so. But I appreciate that the belief that you have in the Colts that we'll be in the playoffs, and I'll be around. Just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to continue this conversation.
Oh, we really appreciate it. You're definitely been a treat for us today. All our listeners really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to catching up with you soon, Jeff. You and your family have a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you guys have a great one, my man.
Oh, okay, thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Take care, Jeff.
All right, take care.
Really great stuff from Jeff Herrod. I didn't plan on keeping him that long, but he was so good and so insightful. I mean, we got to get some more questions in there because this guy had a very long, sustained NFL career. Played with the Colts most of it, and guy played with so many great players. Manning.
No. All those players played with Jeff Herrod.
I got to get that right. I'll get that right one of these days.
Marshall Faulk, Jim
played
Harbaugh,
with Jeff.
They played with Jeff.
Hey, I like it. I think he brought a lot to the table. He doesn't seem to think that it's his foregone conclusion that the Chiefs will just lose this game to the Colts, but I'm here to inform him and all of Colts Nation, fear not. Sleep easy this holiday season. You're going to the playoffs. You're beating the Chiefs on Sunday.
Yes, don't lose a wink of sleep. You don't want to miss Christmas. You don't want to oversleep Christmas. You
go get go get a couple more presents for your kids while you're at it. Wrap them neatly. I'm a good Christmas wrapper myself, Noah. Ask my family.
I am not.
Uh-oh.
You're gonna have
you
to
go
help
the
me
bag
out.
route, don't you? You go the bags with the little stuff sticking out.
No, I definitely try and wrap, but there's corners open.
No,
it's
through. Well, that's okay. It's the
tape
thought.
Wrapping around.
The thought counts, man.
Basically, if you watch Saved by the Bell, it's when Slater got the job of wrapping presents in the mall with the homeless episode. So
yeah, that was a great one, and I don't think there's any better way to ring in the holidays than the Saved by the Bell Christmas special. We're going way off topic now, but you know what? It's the holidays.
That and Home Alone, our intro music. You got to watch those two. So.
Man, yeah, very good ones, and there are several Full House Christmas episodes, and I liked each and every one of them.
With Mickey Rooney. That's a great one.
Season 8, he came in. They brought it. You know what? Christmas Vacation, so many great. You guys know them all. You guys are watching them this week. You guys are ready for Christmas. But you know what?
Rambo? No.
I mean, I hope I get that I hope I get the box set for Christmas.
Yes,
they have a box set out with all the Rambos. I am definitely hoping for that if anyone's listening. But before we can get underway with the holidays, we do have the NFL, of course. Saturday night, oddly enough, the Monday Night Football game, quote unquote, will be the Falcons will be playing on Saturday night, and it's going to be kicking off the NFL weekend. And then we go on to Sunday. God, this Chiefs-Colts game, I just keep thinking about it. It's up there with excitement-wise with, this Patriots-Niners game last week. Like, the tension is building. Chiefs-Colts.
I'm excited about the Broncos-Browns game this week. That is going to be huge. Lots of implications. Oh, wait, no, there's not.
Well, Denver's got to keep winning or they're going to lose that 2 seed.
They're definitely going to win. They'll get the win over the Browns, and then fortunate enough for them, they have the Kansas City Chiefs. They don't even have to play their starters. They'll get the W, and they are holding on to the number 2 seed heading in to the playoffs.
Let me get your prediction on something. We're going back to this Chiefs blowing up the organization thing. Romeo Crennel fired, all that. What is your prediction right now? I want to get it on record. Do the Chiefs go the route of making a splash hire? And I'm just throwing names out here. I have no idea. But just, do they hire a John Gruden, Nick Saban, Chip Kelly, big name, splash type of guy and really try to make some noise? Or do you think, in your opinion, it would just be another friend of whoever general manager we bring in, or just some coach that we have some loose connection to that's a coordinator somewhere that we don't really know much about?
I think it's going to be the latter on that, because I don't think a high name or big name head coach is going to want to come in here and take this job. I don't think it's a sexy job to take.
It's not, but I think I disagree now. If Pioli's out, if we're going under the preemptive idea that Scott Pioli's out of here, I think it does become more attractive. I mean, obviously last year Jeff Fisher didn't want to come work here. And who knows who else they offered the job to or wanted to come interview and couldn't get him here.
Can't forget Peyton Manning, not taking
obviously.
Our phone call. So.
But so if you're taking Scott Pioli out of the mix, it's an NFL job. I mean, my gosh, there's only 32 of them. Someone's going to want it.
Someone, but it's not enough to lure Gruden out of the ESPN.
Probably
booth, not. Cower out of his CBS gig, and I just don't think we're going to get that big name head coach.
So you think, I know we've seen teams do this. In the NFL, it's kind of cyclical. We've seen the Dolphins. We saw the Raiders kind of go the route of just, kind of off the radar coordinators. The Raiders with Dennis Allen, Joe Philbin for the Miami Dolphins. But,
I still say we should snatch up Todd Haley before the Cardinals do. So
hey, man, you get Haley in there with a guy that can work with him. That's not an absolute egotistical, idiotic
maniac
piece of garbage that is Scott Pioli. And by the way, I don't want anything to do with the Patriots. I'm telling you right now, that is one of the greatest organizations there is, and that's because of Brady and Belichick. We've talked about this before. I don't want anybody that's ever been associated with the Patriots unless it's one of those two.
Oh yeah, I was about to say I'll take Brady and Belichick
unless
right
it's
now.
Those two. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to hear the term Patriot Way ever again.
Thomas Dimitriev's doing good. I don't think he's using the Patriot Way slogan down in Atlanta, but he's doing.
That's because he's not a bumbling fool.
Possibly.
He's not bugging cell phones. He's not firing people for leaving rappers on grounds.
He's drafting Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, trading for Tony Gonzalez. That's what
that's what good teams do, and that's what good franchises do. So, you hope that Kansas City's going to make a splash, do something. I mean, I think right now, you draft a quarterback, you hire a new coach, you have a new general manager. No matter who those people are, any of the three of them, you're better than you were this year with the fools we have in there now. I'm sorry, you are.
You have to be. I mean, I don't know what route they're going to go with the general manager. I've heard lots of rumors out there.
And I'd still like to throw Ted Sundquist's name out there, the guy we had on about a month ago talking Chiefs Broncos, former Broncos GM. I'd love Ted to come in here. Love that guy.
Yeah, but you hear about player personnel people with the Giants, the Ravens, the 49ers, the Packers, so there's a lot of options out
a rumor.
Bill Polian, definitely, from old general manager from the Colts.
So yeah, I think it's going to be somebody, and it's going to be somebody better because, face it, Scott Pioli's biggest, offense, the reason why he's in quote-unquote, he's going to be thrown in GM prison this offseason is because of his utter neglect of the quarterback position, something that is intolerable in the NFL. Romeo Crennel told Kevin Kietzman this offseason that they did not bother to even meet with or shake Kirk Cousins' hand. Didn't meet him. Just, no, we have no time to go meeting these
Instead, let's meet and talk about and throw praise and love towards RG3 and then do nothing to try and move up and get him.
No, I mean, Scott Pioli sat there and told Kietzman that Kietzman should be the general manager of the Denver Broncos for suggesting that the Chiefs could have traded 3 number ones to get up and get Luck. He scoffed at the idea. Are you kidding me?
I mean, Romeo Crennel came from a military family. He was talking about, I think after the Combine, how RG3 also comes from a military family. They had a good rapport, good relationship. I was thinking, wow, maybe we'll move up. Nope, we'll just
we're
do
good.
Nothing. We'll just take Dontario.
Did they even shake his hand at the Combine? They sure couldn't bother to shake Kirk Cousins, who just came in. I've seen enough. Kirk Cousins is good.
167 yards.
I've already seen enough of him. That's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And miles better than anything the Chiefs have had since Trent Green. Miles. In fact, when the Chiefs had Trent Green, they should have been drafting quarterbacks then. They didn't do it 10 years ago. They're not doing it now. You people that say that there's not a top 5 quarterback, I don't care. You don't have that luxury anymore. You don't.
And Matt Ryan wasn't supposed to be a top 5 quarterback, but the Falcons liked him. They took him, and he's a stud. Out of Boston College, he was thought to be small, not have enough arm strength.
Yeah, let me throw some names at you of guys that weren't well thought of. Matt Ryan, as you mentioned. Joe Flacco. Let's see. Colin Kaepernick, drafted in the second round. 10 picks behind John Baldwin, who the Chiefs took that year.
People are just scared of the Kyle Bowler effect.
Well, I would be too. The Jamarcus Russell effect. You know what? You find out about Jamarcus Russell's before you draft him. You find out that he's the type of guy that you give a blank DVD to go study film with. He comes back the next week and you say, how was it? And he gives you this giant breakdown and you had just given him a blank DVD. That was Jamarcus Russell. You find that stuff out before the draft. You don't have to get stuck with that like the Raiders did. Don't be afraid, Chiefs fans. Let us lead you into the path of righteousness, the path of drafting NFL quarterbacks. It's a beautiful place. Join us on it.
Especially when we get a new general manager who knows what he's doing, and that's got to be the number one priority. Can you develop talent? Can you
Can you seek out people? Can you look at tape? Can you find your guy? Can you look at the measurables? Can you look at the immeasurables? Can you look at the it factor? All those things factor in. They just do. And by the way, not only are you going to draft a quarterback, Kansas City, you're going to get one too. You're going to trade for someone. You're going to get a Chase Daniel, a Matt Flynn, Tim Tebow, who's out with the Jets. You're going to get someone like that too. Kirk Cousins, who's not going to be available. The Redskins probably aren't going to pull the trigger on him yet. But you're going to get one of those guys too. We're talking 2 quarterbacks, not just one.
Oh, definitely.
And you have no choice. You're doing it.
You've got Quinn and Castle. You know they're garbage. They're gone. You've got Stanzi. He won't even play. You're too afraid to even let him play in a freaking game. So he's got to be gone. I mean, the new general manager's not going to keep him around. So we're going to need 3 new quarterbacks.
Guys, welcome to the world. It's going to be, you guys, trust me, you might be doubting me now. Get on board with it, because as we head towards April, it's going to be all gravy. You're going to get through these holidays, and you're going to start thinking about a quarterback. You're going to start envisioning a guy that could stand up in the pocket and make every throw, that can scramble and make his own plays, that can do what RG3, Andrew Luck, Colin Kaepernick, all these guys are doing. And we're going to bring it to you come April. But right now, we're going into this game, Chiefs and Colts. We hope you guys enjoy it. Guys, from the Outsiders podcast, from Clint here, and from my partner Noah, we wish you just the merriest of Christmases, the happiest of holidays. I mean, we really can't thank you guys enough for joining us and for being a part of what we do, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, one podcast has already quit and gone. There's a Chiefs podcast that's gone out there, so it's down to just us if you want good quality Chiefs talk. So.
And we're going to bring you guests. It's not all about us sitting here talking our heads off, giving us our opinions. We bring on a guest every time, and you know you're going to get that from us.
And a different guest every time. We don't have the same guest on week after week after week after week. We got different, a ton of variety of guests. I mean, if you go through our archives, it's like a different guest almost every week. It's great stuff.
Yeah, go head over to YouTube. You can check out all our stuff.
Just type in the Outsiders podcast. They'll all pop up. And
a lot of interviews, a lot of ex-Chiefs, a lot of ex-NFL players. Guys, we can't thank you enough. Happy holidays, everybody. Enjoy some football this weekend.